Relax, Jack. You're being dramatic. Melissa flicked a glance off her phone and walked past me like I was a chair. Stop hovering. It's smothering. So we're doing that now. I leaned on the counter. You go silent for days, sleep facing the wall, then call me dramatic when I ask what changed. Nothing changed, she said, opening the fridge. You're just needy lately. Needy. Got it. I watched her take the last yogurt and close the door without looking at me. If I'd known where this was headed, I'd have saved us both a month. She snorted. Save the speeches. If I'd known where it was headed, yeah, I would have moved a lot faster. The next night we had dinner at our neighbor's place, Jeff and Carla. Suburban patio, string lights, a plate of overseasoned chicken. 10 minutes in, Melissa had her show running. Carla poured wine. So, how's the new lift in the shop? Busy, I said. Booked out 2 weeks, finally hired a second tech. Melissa cut in before Carla could answer. Jack loves acting like he's running a race team, she said, waving her fork. It's brake pads and oil. Settle down. Jeff let out a weak laugh. Carla shot me a quick wince. I set the fork down. My clients think it's more than that. Because you tell them it is. Melissa, I tilted my head. You're at my table too. Pick a different hobby than me. See? She looked at Carla. He can't take a joke. Too many of your jokes land on my face. Jeff cleared his throat. Anyone try that new taco truck on Main? Great food, Melissa said. Jack, tell them how you burned the steak last week and almost cried. I didn't blink. Tell them how you didn't come home until midnight and called it errands. Carla froze, glass halfway up. Jeff scratched his neck. Okay, Carla said carefully. Who wants more salad? None for me, I said. I pushed back my chair. By the way, folks, quick heads up. I'm scaling back the couple circuit. No more double dates for a bit. Excuse me. Melissa frowned. You don't decide that alone. I just did. I stood. If it's a comedy show where I'm the bit, I'm out. Next time you want an audience, try the dog. He's easier. Carla's eyes widened. Jeff stared at his plate. Melissa laughed too loud. The fragile ego has logged on. Or the adult. I looked at Carla. Thanks for dinner. Rain check on the truck, Jeff? Text me. I left early, walked the 2 doors home, and sat on our front steps. I wasn't mad. I was done being amusing. She came in 20 minutes later, heels in her hand. You embarrassed me, she said. No, I said. You did that part. I just stopped clapping. You're pulling away because I teased you? Because teasing isn't what that was. I stood. Here's my new schedule. Monday through Friday, I'm at the shop till 6. After that, I'm in the gym or out with Mike. Saturday mornings are mine. If you want time, put it on the calendar like a grown-up. If you hit me with side commentary in public again, I'll leave again. No scene. Just gone. She stared like she'd never seen me before. You can't dictate. It's not a dictatorship. It's a boundary. You can engage like a partner, or you can enjoy your stage alone. She smirked. You're really serious. Write it down. She rolled her eyes, headed for the bedroom. Whatever, Jack. I slept like a rock. A week later, she pivoted. Morning coffee. She slid a plate of scrambled eggs toward me like an offering. I've been snippy, she said, soft voice, eyes big. Work's been a mess. I shouldn't take it out on you. I tasted the eggs. Good. Noted. I'm trying, she added. I booked us dinner Friday. Your favorite place. I lifted an eyebrow. It's Thursday. Her mouth twitched. You said to put it on the calendar. I did, I said. Friday I lift with Mike. I'll give you Saturday night. She blinked. You're serious. About the calendar? Extremely. She nodded, smile thin. Saturday. Then. Friday night, she sent photos of her girls' happy hour. The captions were sugar. I didn't reply. Mike and I did sets and split a burger after. Saturday night at the restaurant, I let her lead. She dressed sharp, makeup turned up a notch, like a campaign. She asked about the shop, laughed in all the right places, touched my arm a few times as if no cold weeks had existed. When the check came, she picked it up. Let me. Your turn now. I want to show I appreciate you. Good. I leaned back. Small note. Appreciation isn't a speech you buy. It's a pattern. Her smile held, but the eyes cooled. You're tiring when you dig like this. And you're tiring when you pull a handbrake after flooring it. She slid the card to the waiter without looking at me. The rest of the night, we kept it civil. Back home, she kissed my cheek at the door and headed to bed without waiting for me. The message was neat. The warmth had a timer. 2 days later, she showed up at the shop around noon. I was under an SUV with Jimmy, my new tech, hands full of bolts. She waved through the bay door like she was at a parade. "Jack, I need you to drive me to Stephanie's," she announced. "Car's at the detailer." I slid out on the creeper, wiped my hands. "You can wait an hour. We're knee-deep." She checked her nails. "I need to be there by 1. It's noon now." "Call a ride. I prefer you. And I prefer finishing work when I'm working." She raised her chin. "You're my husband." Jimmy looked at the floor like it was interesting. 2 clients sat in the little waiting area. One elderly guy who comes in for tire rotations like clockwork, and a young mom with a stroller. Both pretending not to listen. So I made that my moment. "Folks," I said to them, friendly voice, "we're running about 30 minutes behind. Coffee's fresh in the pot. Bathrooms down the hall." The young mom smiled, relieved I wasn't about to explode. The old guy nodded. I turned to Melissa. "New rule," I said quietly. "No drop-ins at my shop unless it's an emergency that involves health or fire. Scheduling exists. Use it." "You're actually refusing?" Her tone was a dare. "Correct." She laughed, not nicely. "You're making me call a ride for a 15-minute drive?" "Yes." She stared for 3 long seconds, then huffed and left without a word. Jimmy exhaled. "Sorry, boss," he said. "Didn't want to get in the middle." "You weren't in the middle." I slid back under the SUV. "I just moved the middle." 2 hours later, I got a text. "Sorry, I was harsh. Lunch tonight? My treat. No jokes." I responded, "Sure." 7. Mid-turn. She was trying to reel it back in. Dinner was quiet. No digs. She asked about my shoulders from lifting. She brought me a new shaker bottle and said it made her think of me. It seemed sweet. I noted the pattern: warmth when she hits a wall, then distance as soon as she feels steady. That distance came back with interest. The late nights multiplied. She worked late, then checked on a friend, then lost track of time. Every time I asked, I got the same flat response. "You're reading into everything." That's because everything reads like a script. One Thursday, she got home after 1, shoes in her hand again, perfume loud enough to be a trail. I'd left a note on the counter hours earlier. "Saturday plans canceled. I'm fishing at dawn. Back Sunday." She found me on the couch, remote in hand. "You canceled on me?" she asked. I removed myself from an event that isn't a team sport anymore. "You're punishing me." "Nope. I'm choosing where I put my time. Saturday night isn't good for me." "I already told people we'd be there," she said. "Then go." She wrapped her arms across her chest. "You're impossible." "What changed your bedtime, Melissa?" I asked. She rolled her eyes. "Stop. You're not my father." "Good. Because if I were, I'd ask why you keep coming home like the clock doesn't apply." "I need space," she said. "You crowd me. Constant questions, constant needs. Space doesn't come at 1 in the morning, paid in silence." "I owe you nothing," she said, tossing her hair. "If you can't handle an independent woman, that's your issue. I can handle a partner. I won't entertain a ghost." She opened her mouth like she had a speech ready, then shut it. "You'll survive," she said, heading to the bedroom. I sat there, remote still in my hand, and made a decision that felt like putting a truck in gear. Next morning on my way to the shop, I called a guy Mike knew. Ron, private investigator, the kind who finds answers and keeps his sentences short. I gave him Melissa's full name, work schedule, the car make, the rhythms I'd watched. "I'm not looking to stir," I told him. "I want facts." He didn't promise timelines. He promised the truth. While I waited, I saw an attorney, Dana. Calm, direct, exactly my speed. I laid out the coldness, the distance, the late nights. I didn't paint myself noble. I told her what I had done and what I was done doing. "When you get confirmation," she said, "you keep your mouth shut. No blow-ups. No accusations. Let me file. You keep routine. You document. You stay sleeping in the same house. You do not telegraph." "I can play boring. Play Steel," she said. A week later, Ron sent me a set of time-stamped photos that didn't require commentary. Melissa outside a bar I didn't know, laughing too close with a man who had a jaw like he did push-ups for a living. Her hand on his arm. His hand on her waist. Another photo the next night in a different place. A third. Same man. Same closeness. Same, "we know what we're doing" posture. Ron followed them to a complex across town. Sent me the unit number and a name, Eric. He sent me an address, a workplace, the works. It was clean. It was enough. I called Dana. Her voice didn't change. Understood. I'll prepare and file. You say nothing until I give the go. I went home that night and made dinner like a cookbook instructed. I set a plate for Melissa. She breezed in after 11, saw it, looked at me, and rolled her eyes. Sweet, she said. Guilt spaghetti. Just food. I'm not hungry. Then toss it, I said. It already did its job. What job? Reminding me that I'm done playing chef for someone who eats elsewhere. She put her bag down. You're getting petty. I'm getting simple. She pointed a finger at me like a pen. You keep acting like this, I'll need a break. Like a real one. There's the truth, I said, nodding. Say it plain next time. 3 days later, she tried illusion number 2. Saturday morning, pancakes. Bacon on a plate. A new candle lit on the island. The whole room smelling like vanilla. She came up behind me and wrapped her arms around my waist like we were newlyweds. I miss us, she said. Let's reset. What triggered this new religion? She kissed my shoulder. I was harsh. It's not fair. Come with me to Dana's baby shower today. It'll be good to show a united front. You haven't cared about fronts for months, I said. But okay, I'll go. 1 hour. At the shower, she played perfect wife, fingers laced with mine, laughing with the other women. I stood next to Mike by the grill. You good, he asked. I'm a prop today, I said. It's fine. I can stand still. You look like you want to flip the table. Not my style. Melissa floated over once to adjust my collar like a director. Smile, she whispered. Like this. I flashed a pleasant nothing. You want the teeth or just the cheeks? She pinched my arm gently, then walked away. An hour later, I told her my time was up and left. That night, she went for coffee and never came back before midnight. Kill turn was already done. The decision hardened in me like concrete setting. Dana texted, we're close. Days, not weeks. Monday morning, Melissa pulled the pin she'd been polishing. I need a break, she said at breakfast. Voice light as she clicked through her phone. Space. A change of scenery. I'm going to the coast with the girls next week. 7 days. I already looked at flights. Do that, I said. You're not going to argue? Why would I argue with a plan that gives you exactly what you keep saying you need? She looked up, eyes narrowed. You're being agreeable. I'm learning, I said. You say you need ocean air? Go breathe it. She studied me. There's something off about you. Clarity, I said. It looks strange at first. She bought a suitcase with tiny gold wheels. She left little stacks of beach clothes on the guest bed. She made a show of it like a teenager packing for summer camp. I smiled when appropriate, nodded when necessary, and went to the gym a lot. The night before her trip, she tried gentle again. Want to watch a movie? She asked, sitting close on the couch for the first time in a month. I can make popcorn. I'm turned in early, I said. Have a good flight. She frowned. You're really not going to make this hard? Nope. Okay, she said slowly. Okay. The morning she left, I dropped her at the airport, loaded her suitcase, kissed her forehead like a friend. Enjoy space, I said. You too, she said, suspicious and amused at once. I drove straight from the airport to my own. Dana's last message the day prior. 2 weeks. That's what she needed. 2 weeks gave me room to breathe, to get completely off the stage. I booked a single ticket to Miami for 14 days, texted Mike my plans, and flew out that evening with a small bag and a cleaner mind than I'd had in months. Miami isn't complicated. Sunday wide sidewalks. People who don't care about your story unless you choose to tell it. I did my version of a detox, ran on the boardwalk at sunrise, ate food with too much lime, slept like a human being. Day 3, at a cafe with outdoor tables and a painfully competent cappuccino, I met Brooke. She was reading something with a lot of footnotes and underlining. We made eye contact because the barista mixed up our drinks. She laughed. Are you the guy who ordered the very serious double? I'm the guy who ordered a basic coffee and got this dissertation. It looks like it could file taxes, she said, sliding mine across. Here, return to sender. We talked. Easy. She had a job in design, a mind that felt sharp, and a laugh that hit the right notes. She didn't press for details, so I gave the outline. Things at home are ice. I didn't cause it, and I'm not fixing it alone. I'm here to remind myself I'm a person. That's a healthy sentence, she said. Want to walk, or is that too old school? We walked. We ate dinner that night. The next day, we rented bikes. We didn't pretend to be more than two adults who liked talking and who made each other feel normal. After a few days, we looked like a couple from the outside. Easy banter, shared table, inside jokes. I told her the longer version of my home mess. She listened without pity. She's letting go of something good, Brooke said, twirling a straw wrapper. That's not your mess to hold. Appreciate it. What's your lawyer say? To sit still and not announce my clarity until the paperwork is set. Then sit still, she said. With good coffee. On day 7 of my trip, the text came through at noon. Melissa, I'm home. Where are you? I was at a street market with Brooke, holding a plastic fork and a paper boat of shrimp. I took a quick selfie with Brooke in the background, both of us in sunglasses, ocean behind us. I sent it with one word, breathing. My phone buzzed like it had a fever. Call after call. Message after message. Demands. Questions. Essays. All variations of the same theme. What are you doing? Who is she? How dare you? We need to talk now. I put it face down and kept walking. Brooke glanced at my pocket. That the glacier? Yeah. You going to answer it? No, I popped a shrimp. I'm going to breathe. We sat on a bench. She leaned back, looking at the water. You okay? I'm better than okay. Good. She bumped my shoulder with hers. It looks good on you. Dana messaged later. Filed. Service in 48 to 72. Maintain radio silence. Copy, I wrote. The next 2 days were the same. Melissa calling every 10 minutes. I blocked the number. She emailed, then messaged me on social media, then used a friend's number. I blocked those too. All I sent was the legal notice forwarded from Dana to Melissa's email. That did not slow the flood. Brooke didn't push for details. She met me for dinner, teased me about my taste in music, and let me be a person without assignments. My last night, she made me a small dinner in her rental. Pasta, salad, nothing elaborate. She lit a candle and rolled her eyes at herself. This isn't a seduction, she said, smiling. It's a goodbye so you don't leave thinking this was just coffee and bike seats. I didn't, I said, but I'll accept the carbs. We ate. She handed me a paper bag with a notebook and a pen. On the first page, she'd written one line. Keep your rules. If you want to talk, she said at the door later, call. If you don't, that's okay too. I'm not running plans on you. You're easy to like. Same. She hugged me like we'd known each other a decade, and that was that. Back home, my key turned in my own front door and found a suitcase standing like a bouncer in the entryway. My suitcase. On top, a post-it. Be a man and give me space. Go stay with Mike. I laughed. It came out as a clean sound. She was in the kitchen, arms crossed, eyes hot. You think you're clever, she said, posting pictures like a teenager. Who is she? What game are you playing? Melissa, I said, dropping my travel bag on the couch. You packed the wrong person's things. This is my home too, she snapped. You've been disrespecting me for weeks. You disappear, you ignore me, you send pictures with whoever that is. You think I'm stupid? I think you got comfortable. I pulled my phone and scrolled to a folder I'd never wanted to need. And I think you forgot I'm not furniture. I don't want to see your little memes, Jack. I want an answer. Okay. I held the screen up. Photo 1. Her by the bar with Eric, their bodies too tight to pass for cousins. Photo 2. A different night, a different closeness. Photo 3 outside the complex. Ron's notes were crisp at the bottom. Times, dates, addresses. She went very still, like the power went out. Her face dropped whatever expression she was rehearsing. That's not. She started, then stopped. She looked at the floor. Back at the photo. At me. Where did you? That's not the relevant question. I can explain, she said, the words mechanical. You can't. She swallowed. You've been cold, Jack. You've been distant. You pushed me away. You made me feel like nothing. No, I held up a finger. We're not doing a thesis. We're finishing a lease. She blinked fast. Listen to me. 60 minutes, I said. Take what's yours and what you can carry. Your login to the joint account is disabled. Your car stays, your name's on it. This house is mine. If you need a moving truck for the rest, schedule it with Dana through email. I want a time on the calendar, and I'll have someone here to watch. You will not be here without a set window. You can't kick me out of my own home, she said, voice rising. It's not your home, I said calmly. And I'm not kicking. I'm choosing who lives in my house. That person is not you. You're cruel. I'm collected. I have nowhere to go tonight. You have parents, friends, a guy with a jawline and an address. Her face flushed. Don't talk about him. I just did. She took a breath, tried to tilt the table one more time. You're throwing away years. Years ended when respect left. I'm just catching the bus. She stared at me for a long 10 seconds. It wasn't anger anymore. It was calculation, dying on arrival. If you leave now, you'll regret it, she said, a last thin thread. I won't. She grabbed a suitcase from the hallway closet and started stuffing clothes. No neat folds. No careful stacks. She took random items off shelves like she wanted to hurt the shelves. I didn't flinch. I opened the front door at the 58-minute mark. She walked out at the 59, dragging the little gold wheels that scraped the threshold. The door shut behind her with a clean clap. I texted Brooke later. Back. It's done. She replied, proud of you. How do you feel? Like I can't hear again. Eat something and sleep, she wrote. Then start living. For the record, I did eat. I slept on my own bed like it belonged to me because it did. The next morning, I moved her things from the closet to labeled boxes. I scheduled a time with Dana for pickup and forwarded it to Melissa. No extra words. No notes. Melissa's calls tapered once the paperwork she received spelled out what she wasn't getting. We'd kept finances careful. My shop, my house from before the marriage, separate lines. Dana's plan was clean. The split finalized in a month. Melissa moved back to her parents' town 2 states away. I heard through a mutual that she was piecing together a new start and rotated through short leases while she looked for something stable. I didn't cheer. I didn't gloat. I just made coffee and went to the gym. Brooke and I talked every day. Not performative, just normal. Some days were 2 minutes. Some days were an hour. She sent me a photo of a sunburn she got because she refused sunscreen out of principle. I told her that was a poor principle. She told me to mind my own shoulder. 6 months later, I came home from a late shift at the shop and found a suitcase by my door. Not mine this time. Brooke was on the porch step, hair wind-tangled, smile nervous for the first time I'd seen. I flew in, she said, holding up a hand like a ticket. I know, dramatic. I was on a project, and the whole time I kept thinking I was explaining color palettes to someone who wasn't you. That's a strangely specific romance speech. She laughed. I'm not good at speeches. I'm good at knowing when I'm done pretending I'm casual. I want to build something with someone who knows how to keep rules and keep kindness. I want that someone to be you. I leaned on the door jamb. Took you long enough. You sure? She asked. Not coy. Just making sure the ground was level. I've been sure since the Notebook, I said. She exhaled, relief like an unrolled fist. She stepped forward and hugged me. Same old ease, no big show. We carried her bag in. I made her tea. We talked through logistics like adults. She had a lease to end and a job that could move. I had a life rooted here and space for more. We didn't rush a ceremony, but we didn't drift either. When we did it, it was simple. Backyard, friends, Mike making a toast that for once didn't roast me, Carla dropping off a casserole and hugging Brooke like she'd known her forever. No speeches about destiny. Just 2 people who had learned to keep things clean. My house looks different now. Not because of new furniture, because of how it feels to walk in and not check the clock. My shop runs tighter than ever. Jimmy's a manager already. I sleep well. I lift heavier. I bought a used truck I'd wanted for years and didn't ask permission. The spare room is an office with Brooke's sketches pinned on a cork board and my notes in the margins, and we argue about lamp placement like it's high art. Sometimes I think about the last year and how quiet the end actually was for me. No shouting. No slamming. Just the door closing at 59 minutes and a man deciding he wouldn't be the joke anymore. If there's a lesson, it's not complicated. When the jokes don't stop, stand up and stop being the audience. When someone thinks your life is their prop closet, lock the door and keep your props. When you hear the word space, don't beg for a chair, go find a beach and breathe. The last message Melissa sent months ago, before I blocked the final thread, was 3 words. We made mistakes. She meant both of us. I disagreed then, and I disagree now. I made a boundary. She made a plan. Only one of those required a suitcase with gold wheels. Brooke asked me last night,